What's up? I've been gone for a while, but I do apologize. But yeah, this is my prediction. Now, before we get into the video, I'm fighting next Saturday against Troy Finch on the 20th. The 20th against Troy Finch. So yeah, just want to give you that little reminder. Yeah, that little reminder that I'm fighting Troy Finch next Saturday on the 20th of September. So literally in a week. It's about 12, 11 days. 11 days, 10 or 11 days, something like that. But this video is about Canelo versus Crawford. That's happening this Saturday on the 13th. My prediction, I feel like people are really underestimating Crawford and are overestimating Canelo, and here he is. I'm not saying Canelo's a bad fight. He's definitely not a bad fight. He's a really good fighter. But like, I feel like people are overrating how good he is and kind of shitting on Crawford. Like, I feel like a lot of the predictions I've personally seen, they're all shitting on Crawford. They're not shitting on Crawford, but like they're not really giving him a chance, and it just kind of irks me because it's like it's boxing. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. So I don't know why everyone's not. I don't know why everyone fails to see a reality where Crawford could win this, because it seems like everyone wants Canelo to be the favorite because he's the face of boxing. You know, he's got a bigger name. You could argue he's got a bigger name than Crawford. But yeah, but I just feel like people are not really giving Crawford a chance. I don't understand why. Like these guys are both elite fighters. This could be a very, 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 very good fight, and Crawford could definitely win this. Like definitely win this. He's got all the tools to beat Canelo. All the tools. Now the size, yes, I get it. Size does play a factor, but I feel like people are really like, I don't know, man. I feel like people are just overestimating. I feel like people are like harping on about it. I feel like people are harping on about it a bit too much, because yes, it does play a factor. But look at Alexander Usyk, for example. You know, a guy who used to fight cruiserweight the majority of his career, moved up a weight class and fought some of the best heavyweights of this generation, and he beat them all. He beat Fury, he beat AJ, he beat Dubois, he beat Chisora, he beat all these guys who were like the best in the division when he was fighting at cruiserweight, not even that long before fighting them. So yeah, so that's, I use that example. You know, I know it's two weight divisions, but still, moving up in weight doesn't really mean that much if you think about it, because again, look at Usyk. So yeah, but yeah, so I feel like, and I am a bit of a Crawford fan. I'm not a fan, but like I feel like people are really underestimating his chances. And the thing is, I used to be a hater of Crawford. I remember making a video like last year, yeah, when he fought Madrid, whatever his name is, the fuck. And he went and he beat him, and I was like, oh, he had terrible performance. He's terrible. He should retire. Kennedy's gonna whoop him. And then now I'm sitting here a year later, kind of sucking him off. Not sucking him off, but like just, you know, kind of like backing him a little bit. I feel like he's got a chance to win this, a really good chance, because I watched that fight back again, and he actually didn't look that bad. I feel like I think his opponent was the issue. I don't think it's because he was moving up in weight. That's why he didn't look good. I feel like what's his name again? Madrid is a very like slick fight. He just constantly just moves like always moving. So I feel like he's a very tricky fighter to deal with. So that's why I don't really look at that and say, oh, he's really bad, because you need to look at the guys they're fighting. Like the guys they're fighting could be very, very slick, very, very quick, that it could not make the other guy look that good. That's why you need to just take that into account. Don't just judge people's performances off of that one fight. Like, oh, he looks really slow here, that means he's gonna lose to this guy. No, you don't just look at that fight. Look at the other fights, because it gives you the full context. It really does. You know, Madrid is not someone who is like very easy to like outbox. Like he's like, you know, he's a very, very like constantly just moving, you know. But I feel like people are really underestimating Crawford's chances. I feel like he's got a very good chance to win this fight. I think it's a very 50-50 fight personally. I think they both, you know what makes the fight so interesting, yeah, is when both guys are undefeated. Both guys are undefeated and their O's are on the line. What the fuck? And yeah, sorry guys. Someone's just going down the stairs. But yeah, but what was I saying? Yeah, you know what makes a fight interesting? Yeah, is when both guys are undefeated and their O's are on the line. So if one of them loses, it could really affect. It won't massively affect their career, but it will affect it to a fuck. How do I say it again? It will affect it to a extent, because like if Canelo loses, You know the narrative's gonna be like, oh, he lost to a guy who was moving up 2 weight classes. That's the narrative. If he loses this fight, and if he wins as well, they'll say, oh, you only beat a guy who moved up 2 weight classes. You know, the Canelo haters. But the Crawford, if Crawford loses, I'm not quite sure. I mean, he will. Yeah, it'll be like, oh, he lost to a guy who was. I don't even know what to say really. You lost to a guy who's getting old, you know, or his body's worn tall because he's been fighting for so long. I don't know. I can't think of an for the other side, but like, my point is, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think I think it's got potential to be a really, really good fight. I think they match up perfectly. I feel like it's a perfect matchup. I feel like Crawford has got very good chances of beating Canelo. I feel like Crawford's got very good chances of beating Canelo. I feel like Canelo's got good chances of beating Crawford. So yeah, so I think it goes both ways. I think Canelo can win. I think Crawford can win. I think it's very, 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 very close. Very, very 50-50. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah, why did I talk like that? But yeah, I feel like it's got potential to be a really good fight. But yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say the opposite. I think Crawford wins. I think he's, you know, a bit faster. I think he will actually be willing to, like, you know, let his hands go a bit, you know, try and trade with Canelo. Obviously, it's very risky because he could, you know, clip you, but I'd advise him to not really do that. But I feel like if he wants to beat Canelo, he has to have a very, 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 very smart game plan. You can't just go in there rushing, trying to like swing haymakers or swing shots. You know, he has to be very careful. He has to be very, very, very smart about his game plan to beating Canelo. You can't just go in there, trade like immediately just on the front foot, trading shots, trying to, you know, do something. Like, no, you need to be patient. You need to be patient for a few rounds, and then you can start maybe turning up the volume. But don't just go instantly try to, you need to be very careful, man, because Canelo, he has been dropping guys a lot. He hasn't been knocking people out, but he's been dropping them. Like, he hasn't knocked anyone out, but he's been dropping them. And these are big guys. You know, Belonga's a big guy. Mongu is a big, oh, fuck's sake. Mongu is a big guy. Who else? Some other guys he's fought who were like actually bigger than him, you know, in height and weight a little bit. Like, you know, he's not been knocking them out, but he's been dropping them at least. So that just shows his power is still there. He still has enough power to like put you on the canvas, but it depends if your chin is that weak. If your chin is that weak, you're most likely gonna get knocked out. But like, if your chin's like okay, then you'll probably just get dropped and you'll probably be able to get back up. But yeah, I feel like Crawford is one of those people who'll get dropped, but he won't get knocked out. He'll just get dropped and he'll get back on his feet, and he's got the heart. He's not gonna like, he's not just gonna be like, oh, I got dropped, so that means I have to try and survive. No, he's gonna go out on his shield, and even if he does get knocked out, he got knocked out going out on his shield and putting all on the line. But I don't see him getting knocked out. I think at most he'll probably get dropped at some point. Like, he'll probably get dropped at some point, but then he'll get back up and will keep on fighting, keep on, you know, he might just, you know what, he might, you know, think about like, I got dropped, so maybe I should try and be a bit more careful now. That's okay. I think that's probably what he'll do. But like, I feel like that won't really stop him from trying to like get like a stop it, or like trying to like, you know, outland Canelo, trying to like, you know, land more punches, try and win the fight. You know, like if he gets dropped like round 4, for example, he's still got like, because it's a 12-round fight, yeah. So if he gets dropped in round 4, that means he's got 7 rounds to redeem, you know, that knockdown. And if he was able to win like majority of those rounds, like between round 5 and round 12, if he's able to win majority of those rounds, then he can win the fight. But yeah, but that's about it, guys. That's about it for my breakdown. But yeah, I've been gone for a while, but not been posting, and I apologize for that. But we're back. I'm back. I'm gonna be posting more regularly, but I am back at school. I'm back at college. I'm at college now. But yeah, but that's my prediction. That is just my prediction. I think. I'm gonna say it. I honestly think Crawford can win this. I think Crawford will win. I feel like he's not really been taking that much damage throughout his career. You know, Canelo. If you look at Canelo, yeah, you know, Canelo, he's been boxing his whole life, yeah, but he started late. Like, he started really young. Like, he had an amateur career. Did he have an amateur career? I don't think he really did. I feel like he's had his amateur career in like some of his pro fights. I feel like some of his pro fights, like his first like 15 fights, you know, were kind of like his amateur fights. I don't think he really had an amateur career. So, and he's been boxing since he was like, what, 16, like 15, like that's gonna have some tear on your body. Like, you've been boxing for that long, and you haven't really been like taking breaks. You haven't really been like, you know, like you've been constantly just fighting. You know, at least with Crawford, he only fights like once a year, once every, like, he doesn't fight like constantly, like just every couple months. Like that's what Canelo does. He fights like every few months. That's his. Sorry guys, I can't speak. But his last fight was in like what, May, just 4 months ago. Then the fight before that was in September, and then the fight before that was in May. So constantly just fighting, and he's like 35 now. He's 35, so 35 years old. He's gonna have some tail on his body, you know. Crawford won't really, but yeah. But that's my prediction. I'm gonna say Crawford wins. Yeah, but yeah. Bye.